where has this fucking been all my life? You know. Tell you what, if you're a boxing fan, I recommend you're not like one of these who just loves like the pure art of it, and I do like the art of it, you know, the hit and don't get hit. If you're just a fan who just likes to see a good fucking scrap, which I am as well, I do, like I say, I do like the art, but I like a good scrap. Just go on YouTube and just look up the BKFC and all the highlights, and you'll recognise some of the names. You know what I mean? If you follow any sort of boxing or an MMA or anything like that, you'll see sort of like second-rate or older fighters that you'll recognise, and it'll just be interesting. It's really good entertainment. So Michael Venom Page versus Mike Perry, Bareknuckle. Now I know they're not strictly boxers, these two, even though they both have had boxing fights. Looking at it now, I'm really looking forward to this. I didn't expect this at all. Not really heard of Mike Perry. I do follow MMA, but not very much. Boxing is my thing, really. But I know Mike Perry was in the UFC, so you can't, you know, you've got to be good to be in the UFC at MMA. I know MVP Michael Venom Page has never been in the UFC. Advantage Perry, but having said that though, if Michael Venom Page really wanted to be in the UFC, with all of his style and his record and stuff, and I know he's been beaten a couple of times coming off a loss, he could have been in the UFC. He still could probably go into the UFC if he really wanted to. We look at the age of the two guys. Perry 30, Page 35, so obviously younger man, Perry, advantage there. Look at the size, big size difference here. Page usually does seem to have the size difference over his opponents. He's quite lanky for his weight. Page is about 6'3", and Perry's apparently about 5'10". Now Perry's the guy who has actually had, they both had boxing fights before, but Perry has actually had a bare-knuckle fight before, and he's won it. I watched the fight, wasn't massively one-sided or anything, but he did win it and he did get the decision. And obviously Page has never fought bare-knuckle before. Let's say he has had a couple of boxing matches, but it's completely different. You know, it's well, obviously it's bare-knuckle. Yeah, the rounds and the amount of rounds and stuff like that, and the fact that it's in a circle, it's just a completely different, well, not completely different, but very different dynamic to the boxing ring. So looking at all that, you know, the age, Perry's advantage, the size, the advantages with Page, but the experience, you can't beat experience. And that's not to say that Page has no chance, but the fact that Perry has been in a circle before for a bare-knuckle fight, that's a massive advantage. And the fact that he's won as well, that makes it an even bigger advantage. Now Page, I presume, is the A side. The fight's happening in London. He is from London, and I assume that, you know, he's the A side. So again, advantages. So there's advantages and disadvantages on both sides, but I feel that the main advantages lie with Perry, even though as a Brit I would want Page to win. But the whole this fucking shit that Page does, I mean, it's entertaining. Let's say I do watch MMA. When I've seen him, he's always dancing around with his fucking hands by his side, and yeah, it looks fantastic. He won't be fucking doing that in the bare-knuckle ring. He can't not fucking be. It's one thing. He's been knocked out before, you know. He's been 2 or 3 fights ago. He got knocked out, I think. I know he lost his last fight, which was a boring one on Bellator, so that it was just a decision, and he did lose it, but he was just rolling about on the floor, sort of type of shit, which is no interest to me. You can't be doing this standing by the side, dancing about. Fucking, it's fair enough. Use your attributes, use your range, in and out. You've got the longer reach. You're the taller guy. You're the faster guy, probably. Although Perry doesn't look slow, but I'd say that Page, even though he's older, would be quicker. Don't be doing this dancing around hands by the side shit, because you've been knocked out with the MMA gloves on. Now I know the MMA gloves less pad. I don't know exactly how many ounce they are, but they've got padding on. No padding on these. No, it is what it is. Bare-knuckle. You don't want to be fucking getting. You don't want to be getting hit bare-knuckle. You've already been fucking knocked out with. You've already been knocked out with a glove on. So yeah, and you ain't getting any younger. So don't be doing all that. But that's a bit. My problem is, I think he probably will. I don't think a leopard can change its spots. Certainly can't change it to the extent that he would need to change it. But yeah, both guys have been knocked out. And if it was a pure boxing match, let's say we've seen him have boxing matches before Page, and he's won. And apparently Perry's had a boxing match, just a Queensbury boxing match, and lost, although he's had a bare-knuckle fight and won. If it was a boxing match, then my money would be on Page to win, but it isn't a boxing match. It may not be completely different, but it's very different, you know. And all of this outboxing people doesn't seem to, I mean, I'm no expert on bare-knuckle, but I'm learning about it, I'm really enjoying it, but all this trying to outbox stuff doesn't seem to work. Watched the Paulie Malignaggi versus the Russian guy, and he just outboxed him all night, bare-knuckle. Outboxed him. If it was in a boxing ring, it was 5 rounds, or however many rounds, I think it was 5 rounds. It was a shutout. Malignaggi won, but he didn't win. He didn't get the decision. The other guy won because he was coming forward. And he seemed to be working harder, he seemed to be more aggressive. Okay, he wasn't landing anywhere near as many punches as Malignaggi was, but the other guy got the decision. And it wasn't even like there was a big, obviously Malignaggi wasn't happy, but there wasn't even an uproar with it in the stadium or anything like that. There wasn't, you know, it seemed like they thought that the Russian guy won. And it was, yeah, so again, it's just different to boxing. It's not, it isn't the same. Might be similar, but it is by no means is the same. So I hope Page wins, but don't think he will. I think he'll get knocked out, and I think it'll be Perry that wins, unfortunately, even though he's the smaller guy, even though he's the away fighter. I just think the fact that he's younger, the fact that he's coming off a win on he's had a bare knuckle fight before and he won it, and that was his last outing, so his confidence is up. Page is coming off a loss. Okay, it was in a cage, but you can't beat the experience. He's never been juggled before for a bare knuckle fight, and it's very different. And I just don't think his style, as entertaining as it is, this hands down moving about style, it just isn't bare knuckle boxing. It just isn't. But yeah, I've been looking for the odds to try and put a bet on this, to try and give me a bit of an idea who the bookies think is going to be the favourites. But I can't find any odds on any of the bookmakers anyway. I don't know whether they don't bet on bare knuckle fights in Britain or not, but it's a shame if they don't. I don't see why they wouldn't. They certainly start needing to if they don't. But yeah, my money's on unfortunately my money's on Perry.